A Beacon in the Dark by Noha Ijiachi. Chapter 23. Not Your Own. He could feel Mom's indecisiveness. Honestly, he couldn't blame her. Last time he went out for a day with friends, he ended up with a good chunk of his body and internal organs destroyed. He turns on the door. "I'll send you texts and pictures during the day, okay?" He says, "So you will know I'm still alive," kind of hanging there unspoken. "Okay, sweetheart," she finally says with a sad smile in her voice. "Have fun." He waves to her one last time before finally heading out, a messenger bag with the essentials on his shoulder. He listened a bit to the news on his phone. Everyone was still talking about Camino Ward and All Might. Of course, they will probably talk about that for the rest of eternity. As he made his way to the appointment, when he got there, he felt the familiar lights of Miki and Haru, along with 3 other lights he did not know. Presumably, Miki's friends. Todoroki was already there too, a bit further, of course, not having any idea how Miki looked like. "Izuku!" Miki called him over, cheerful. He approached with a smile, feeling a tinge of surprised nervousness from the lights he did not know. Miki gave him a quick hug that he happily reciprocated before turning away from him. "Girls, this is Izuku. Izuku, my friends. Kotoe, Masae, and Fuyumi." He properly shook hands with a smile, the 3 girls' lights feeling a bit starstruck and intimidated. Weird. "Hey man, I'm glad to see you well," Haru says amicably with a shoulder pat after all the introductions were over. He felt genuinely happy to see him. "When I heard of the Kiyashi Ward incident in the news, I almost got a heart attack." "Yeah, that whole situation kinda sucked big time, but I'm okay now," Izuku admits with a little lopsided smile and a shrug. "But you saved that girl, right?" One of Miki's friends, Fuyumi, he thinks, asks, wonder in her voice. "Oh yeah, poor thing was so scared. I'm glad she didn't get hurt. She even sent me a letter and a drawing after," Izuku replies, smiling to himself at the memory. He can't read it directly, but he's still keeping it well preserved. When he realizes that the feelings of admiration he can perceive coming from them are actually directed at him, Izuku feels a blush rise to his cheeks. One of my friends is already here. I'm going to call him, okay?" He stammers, embarrassed, before walking toward Todoroki. He can hear one of Miki's friends whisper, "Oh my god, Miki, I thought you were kidding me, but it is him! He's cuter than the looks on TV, too." Which makes him blush even harder, to the point that when he approaches Todoroki, he can feel the surprise in his light. "You're not sick, are you?" Todoroki asks, feeling Izuku's forehead worriedly, making him splutter and laugh. Shoto was not sure about this whole day out idea at first, but he has to admit that so far, it's not too bad. They all met up at the subway station, Uraraka and Ida joining them not much after Midoriya approached him, getting introduced to Midoriya's friend from middle school. Miki, as she had adamantly insisted they called her. She seemed nice, and it was clear that she and Midoriya were very close to each other, going by the easy camaraderie between them, plain to everyone's eyes as they exchanged words and joked with one another. Miki's friends seemed okay too, although her totally not boyfriend, as Midoriya said, and the 3 other girls were kind of starstruck and too intimidated to talk much. That didn't surprise Shoto. He was well accustomed with the world of heroes and the kind of social status that being a student of UA's hero course brought with it. It wasn't just the 4 of them and Midoriya's friend, though. They ended up inviting the entire class, although most of them were either away from town or already busy with other things. Some had answered. Kaminari and Kirishima were making an absolute ruckus as they entered in the amusement park, while Yaoyorozu and Asui chatted animatedly with Uraraka. Midoriya and Ida were deeply engaged in a discussion with Miki's boyfriend about some hero news as she laughed and playfully called them nerds, her friends shyly trailing behind her. Shoto was left mostly walking in the middle of the group, not talking with anyone, but it wasn't a bad sensation, nor it felt lonely. He just felt serene. He was pretty sure he'd never been to an amusement park before, he thought, as he looked up at the roller coaster. Or if he did, he had simply been too young to remember, so the day was surely going to be full of new experiences for him. "So what do we want to do first?" Midoriya asked cheerfully when they stopped in the main plaza, the noises of the rides and people having fun all around them. Shoto had been so happy to see him finally looking just decently healthy. Not pale, no dark bags under his eyes, not wincing because of a headache. He looked like he finally managed to get a decent amount of sleep and resting and some good warm meals. About time! The roller coaster! Kaminari and Kirishima immediately replied predictably.
The haunted house can be fun too,
Hasui says, a finger on her mouth. No! I don't want to go to the haunted house! Uraraka replies, grabbing one of Hasui's arms and shaking her. Why did you have to say that? Midoriya snickers. I don't have any preference, to be honest. Todoroki? Shoto blinks, surprised about having his opinion asked directly. I don't have any preference either, he replies even. I've never been to an amusement park, so... At that, Kaminari gasps like he just insulted his entire lineage, making Miki and her friends laugh at his overblown reaction. Dude! No way! He exhales and gasps. We gotta go do the roller coaster then. Shock introduction is the best! That sounds ominous, but Shoto let himself get dragged to the roller coaster when they all end up agreeing on that. It can't be that bad, right? It was worse. Shoto is really trying his best not to get sick all over Midoriya as he fuzzes over it with a worried expression. Wow, you really took that badly, he says, a lopsided smile on his lips. He rummages in his bag, fishing a bottle of water. Here, drink a bit. It'll make you feel better. They are sitting on a bench after the ride. Shoto could say with certainty that he'd much rather risk to break his neck by sliding on his own ice 20 meters off the ground than to ever climb on one of these rides ever again. The others had left them to go to the haunted house when Shoto assured them that he would be fine, just needed a minute, and Midoriya stayed behind with him, saying that he didn't mind missing on the haunted house to make sure Shoto would be okay, since he couldn't really make much of it anyway, said while vaguely gesturing at his pale eyes. Shoto forced himself to drink a bit, slowly feeling his stomach settle down. Why do people ride that for fun? He finally asks once he's sure he won't puke all over Midoriya if he opens his mouth. Midoriya chuckles. It's not so bad, but if you suffer from motion sickness, then yeah, it's probably pretty bad. Shoto sighs, sitting a bit straighter, playing idly with the bottle in his hands, and finally realizing that it's just him and Midoriya now. His mind, traitorous, flashes in him what Uraraka texted him the past evening. Something about using the occasion to create a romantic situation, or whatever. Yeah, almost puking on the person you've fallen in love with. So romantic. Do you feel better? Midoriya asks gently, showing him that kind, warm smile that makes Shoto feel as if his own brain is about to melt out of his nose. Stupid! Yeah, better. Midoriya distractedly turns his head on the side, blinking a couple of times before turning back to Shoto. Looks like the others will be stuck in line for the haunted house for a bit. Do you want to do something else in the meantime? He must have checked with his quirk. Convenient quirk is convenient, Shoto murmurs, making him laugh. I don't know. I don't think I can stomach anything too arduous for now. Well, we can go to see some of the carnival games. No risk of getting sick there. A pause. Unless you decide to eat something from the street vendors, then yeah, might still risk getting sick. Shoto snickers. Can't help it. Midoriya's sense of humor is just the kind that always gets to him. Midoriya seems satisfied at that. Come on, no point in sitting here doing nothing, he says, standing. He gently grabs Shoto by finding his forearm first and sliding his palm down until he could circle his fingers around Shoto's wrist. And Shoto totally did not feel a sense of thrill running up his spine at that. Nope, not at all. Midoriya easily hauls him on his feet, which reminds Shoto just how strong Midoriya really is, as if his toned arms and the way his shirt stretches on his chest and shoulders aren't already enough of a giveaway. Brain, please don't melt. I need you still.
Psst. What?
Ochako turns around when Miki elbows her gently, whispering. She blinks, following the direction of her pointing finger, noticing Midoriya and Todoroki walking away in the distance, clearly chatting with one another.
Thinking what I'm thinking?
Miki asks with a grin and a wink, making Ochako splutter. Nah, she answers, shaking her head. Midoriya is clearly completely oblivious, and Todoroki is a disaster. It's not happening. What is not happening? Yaoyorozu asks, curious. The line from the haunted house shuffles a bit, and so do they, while Miki lowers her voice a bit more in a conspiratorial manner.
You may never know, Ochako. Amusement parks are a magical place after all.
Tsuyu has turned too, tilting her head on the side.
Oh,
She says, understanding dawning in her dark eyes.
You think Todoroki will confess?
Yaoyorozu blinks, confused, as Ochako stifles a laugh in her elbow. Wait, you mean... Yaoyorozu says, her eyes widening in understanding. You mean Todoroki likes Midoriya?
I've only met him this morning, and it was painfully obvious.
Miki snickers.
I mean, he was pretty much making heart eyes at Izuku while we waited for you guys. He's been liking him for a while now.
Tsuyu adds with a little croak matter-of-factly.
You liked Midoriya too, Ochako. But you don't like him like that anymore, do you?
Ochako finds herself blushing. Tsuyu is observant and blunt, as always, and a little cough finds its way out of her mouth as Yaoyorozu turns on her with eyes big as plates. It's true, Ochako admits. I had a crush on Midoriya, but I got over it. I'm just happy with being friends now. Todoroki, on the other hand... Yaoyorozu seems vaguely distressed, putting a hand on her chin. I completely lack social awareness in this sense, she finally says, analytical. I hadn't noticed at all. You're not the only one, don't worry about it. Ochako consoles her with a little pat, pointedly looking at Ida, standing just in front of them, chatting with Kirishima and Kaminari. Todoroki is way far gone, like full blown over the crush phase and straight in the pining phase, the poor thing. So, you think he's going to confess? Yaoyorozu asks, turning to Miki, suddenly very interested.
Who knows? With the right atmosphere, he might manage to get even through Izuku's thick skull. But you guys know Todoroki better than I do.
Miki replies with a shrug. They all hum in unison as they think, making Ida turn with a perplexed look.
Are you okay?
He asks. Kaminari puts a hand on his shoulder, shaking his head with some sort of wise old man expression on his face. Girls, he said dead serious. Don't ask. Trust me. Honestly, Izuku couldn't hope for anything better. He was with his friends, they were having fun, and no one had tried to kill him. Or them. Yet. He hummed a little tune to himself, happily, as he and Todoroki made way to the games. If the day kept going like that, it might just turn out to be the most successful day Izuku had in a long while. Also, it just felt nice to walk with Todoroki. His friend had always this warm, soft feeling around him that made Izuku feel like a moth going toward light. It just felt good to be with him. You look really happy, Todoroki comments softly after a while. I am, Izuku replies, turning a smile to him. We all went through some pretty harsh stuff. It's nice to be able to just spend a simple day like this having fun. Todoroki hums. You're right, he finally says. It's good to spend a day just relaxing every now and then. Did you really never been to an amusement park before? Izuku asks, curious. Todoroki seems to hesitate for a while before answering. My father thinks it's a waste of time that can be used better. He finally says, evenly. Izuku's good mood definitely takes a punch at that. It was easy to forget the kind of home life Todoroki led when he was such a nice, affectionate friend. Well, wouldn't it be the first time that guy was wrong about something? Izuku mutters, knowing he's pouting. He leans a bit on the side, meeting Todoroki's shoulder with his cheek. You have all the right to go out and have fun, okay? Todoroki seems to have tensed a bit, which is understandable considering the subject they have touched upon. But then he relaxes with a little sigh. Yeah, he says in a low voice. I would like to go to other places with you in the future. Izuku gives him a big effing grin. I would like that too. Overmanga, help, he's killing me. Question mark? Midoriya, he's being overly cute in that I'm adorable without realizing it way. I am dying. Please help. Deal
with it!
You traitor.
I'm sure your little faint gay heart can take it, my friend. Good luck!
So much for her being his ally. Shoto glares down at his phone as if he could send a thunder shock directly to Uraraka through it. He had used the occasion of Midoriya sending a couple of messages to his mother, after having asked Shoto to take a picture with him to send her, pressing his cheek against Shoto's with an arm around his shoulders, to slip in a desperate plea of help to her. A fruitless effort, clearly. Okay, hold on, Midoriya says, turning to him with another giant smile. Those smiles were kind of killing him, but he much preferred them to the tense, sad expression Midoriya seemed to wear most of the time lately. Shoto surrenders to his upcoming death as Midoriya drags him to the games. There are all sorts of booths with different types of challenges offering a wide range of prizes. One in particular catches Shoto's eye, where an array of All Might merchandise is proudly shown. The man might have retired, but it's not like he didn't still have a loyal, loving following. Shoto chuckles when he notices a big round plush with the signature hair tuft softly sticking out. Midoriya would probably love it if he could see it. Did you see something you like? Midoriya asks, his hand still around Shoto's wrist. Want to try it? Although these games are usually rigged, so don't take it personally if you don't win anything. Shoto ums. They do have time to kill, so might as well. Yeah, let me try. Midoriya stands at his side with a content smile as Shoto examines the game. The man at the booth explains that he has to shoot down the targets that are moving at the very back and try to make as many points as possible. How many points for that one? Shoto asks, a plan hatching in his mind. He makes a silent shushing motion with his finger, the other hand pointing at the All Might plush, and the man at the booth blinks before taking into Midoriya's pale eyes and nodding in silent understanding. I'm afraid you are going to need the biggest score for that one, the man replies with a smile. Good luck, kid. Shoto takes the fake gun after paying for his game, weighing it in his hands, and then gets to work. What is it? Izuku asks, pleasantly surprised after Todoroki had put the prize he just won. After stubbornly trying 6 times, saying he was figuring it out, in Izuku's arms announcing it was for him. A bunny. Todoroki replies distractedly, and Izuku is too busy happily testing how soft the object is in his arms, hugging it tight, overjoyed about having got a gift from Todoroki to fool the smudge of a lie that flashed in Todoroki's light for a split second, rapidly stifled by the usual gentle, warm feeling he exuded. Oh my god, you did not! Chaka whispers after Midoriya walked away with most of the group to go get something to eat, leaving just her and Todoroki to claim a picnic table before the place got too crowded. She had almost died laughing when they met back with them, Midoriya hugging that ridiculously big All Might plush to his chest. Seriously, it was almost as big as Midoriya's entire torso, with a giant smile saying, "Look, Todoroki won a bunny for me!" Adding a perplexed, Is something wrong? When all of them clearly started to snicker. Todoroki at his side stayed silent, looking like his entire being was just about to catch fire, not just his left side. Shut up. Todoroki is his back, holding the offending object between his arms with what could only be described as a pounce on his face. I don't speak with traitors. So kind of you to win him a prize. She continues mercilessly, tugging at the soft hair tufts on the plush. A bunny, nonetheless. Todoroki huffs, suspiciously red in the face. I wanted to tell him what I really want, but then I felt stupid. He admits, not looking at her. Tell me the truth. You just wanted to see him hug that plush. He was positively adorable after all. Ochako grins, nudging her friend with her shoulder. Wonder how Mr. Adoptive Dad will react if he sees this. Oh my god. Todoroki exhales, drawing a hand on his face, eyes going wide. I didn't think of that. Ochako's belly is going to explode if she keeps laughing like this. The day had gone by way too fast for Izuku's taste. They pretty much managed to ride everything in the park. Even Todoroki found the courage to try some of the more risky ones, not getting as sick as he did on his first ride, thankfully, although he definitely felt more at ease on the more relaxed rides like the Ferris wheel, sitting near Izuku and describing the scenery to him. No villain popped up from behind a bush to ruin their day, and no one got hurt. This had seriously been one of the best days he had in ages. They parted ways at the subway station, tired and happy, as the sun was starting to set. Izuku felt relaxed, almost sleepy, as he stood on the train, the plush Todoroki gifted him under one arm, the other grabbing at the pole near him to keep his balance. Todoroki himself was standing by his side, silent. For some reason, the girls all insisted he should walk Izuku back home with something he could not quite understand in their voices. To be honest, everyone had been acting really strange at times today. Izuku had no idea why. Maybe it was due to the fact that they could finally relax after so many incidents. Stress could do weird things to people. He would know, he's kind of the leading expert on stress, making him go a bit crazy. Todoroki ended up giving in under the pressure, and Izuku could feel that part of Todoroki didn't want the day to end, too. So Izuku hadn't protested, despite the fact that he did not need to be walked anywhere, really. Oh, do you want to stay for dinner? Izuku asks, blinking himself out of his thoughts. He should at least offer, since Todoroki was coming with him all the way to Izuku's place. He could feel the hesitation in Todoroki's light, so he added, Unless you need to go home, of course. I mean, I don't want to trouble you. No one's home, Todoroki says evenly. My siblings are all out for their summer breaks, and my father is really not around much since, you know. Not that I mind, Todoroki's light seemed to almost say. I see. So it's no problem if you come for dinner. Izuku smiles at him. I guess not. Okay. Todoroki finally concedes, something charged in his low voice. This is the day Shoto will die of sheer embarrassment. It was bound to happen. It was destiny. Clearly. They reached Midoriya's house just as the sky was starting to darken. Small place, modest, nothing like the giant residence Shoto had grown up in. But from the moment Midoriya opened the door, a greeting on his lips, it had been obvious just how much more lived in and warm his home was. There were pictures of Midoriya with his mother on the walls, the smell of something cooking on the stove, as someone was chatting in low, relaxed voices from the kitchen. That stopped after they closed the door behind them, Midoriya's mother poking her head out of the kitchen with a smile before blinking, surprised. Izuku! You could have told me we were about to have guests, she said good-naturedly. Loving. As if her son suddenly bringing a guest home without any warning was just normal business. So very different from Shoto's own home situation. Sorry, we were already almost here when I asked. Midoriya replied with a little embarrassed smile. Mom, this is Todoroki. Shoto bowed properly because he had manners ingrained in him, and when he looked back up, he almost had a heart attack. All Might was there too. He was looking at them with slight surprise on his emaciated features, then his eyes tracked down to the plush under Midoriya's arm. This is it. This is how I die. Todoroki Shoto killed by too much blood to the face. What is that? All Might asks with a tint of amusement in his voice. Oh, this? Midoriya replies, holding the offending object up. Todoroki won it for me. It's... Shoto's hand claps at Midoriya's shoulders like vices as he interrupts him, gritting. There's a room upstairs. Yes? Shoto starts to push him forward and then up the stairs, not daring to look at the two adults watching them with perplexed gazes as Midoriya stammers. Wait! What are you... Todoroki! Wait! Izuku stumbled in his room, perplexed. Todoroki closed the door behind them before letting out a little... Oh my god. His entire light yelling, I'm currently very embarrassed! Are you okay? Izuku asks, still hugging the plush between his arms. I'm very much not okay. Todoroki replies, something undefinable in his voice. All Might is downstairs, and you... He trails off. Izuku waits for more, blinking. Should I have told you? I wasn't really focusing on my radar. I didn't even notice myself at first, to be honest. Sorry. That's not bad. A groan. I'm sorry, When I won that plush for you, I lied because I felt stupid. It's not a bunny. Izuku frowns, palming at the object. And then realizing... Is this an All Might plush? He exhales, hearing Todoroki groan again. Izuku splutters, laughing almost hysterically. That's not funny. Todoroki tries to pretend slightly muffled as if he's hiding his face in his hands. I've never been so embarrassed in my entire life. Oh, don't be like that. Izuku laughs, approaching him and pushing the soft object against him repeatedly. He takes this kind of stuff in good spirits. I can't recall how many times I've embarrassed myself in similar ways, don't worry. Todoroki snorts, the tenseness in his light subsiding bit by bit. He finally takes the plush away after Izuku kept bumping it against him non-stop, playfully launching it on Izuku's bed. Why did you feel stupid about it anyway? Izuku asks, tilting his head on his side as he stands in front of his friend. It's a nice gift. Todoroki hesitates before sighing. His light seems back to normal, back to that warm aura that makes Izuku feel always so nice and happy whenever he's around Todoroki. When I saw it, I thought you probably would have liked it, but... A pause, his voice lowering. It doesn't matter. It's dumb, really. Of course it matters. Izuku insists, softly closing the distance between them a bit more to better hear him. You can tell me. I won't laugh, I promise. There's something charged in the air, something Izuku cannot quite pinpoint, but it's not bad. It makes him want to just stay like this near Todoroki after having spent a nice fun day with him, basking in this warm feeling that seems to be almost embracing him. I just wanted to make you happy, Todoroki finally murmurs. How's that a bad thing? Izuku asks with a soft laugh, gently pushing a hand on Todoroki's chest. You're silly sometimes, Todoroki kisses him. Izuku's breath itches in his throat as Todoroki's fingers gingerly goes under Izuku's chin, rising his head up a bit. Izuku is frozen for a second, shocked before he slowly relaxes, his mouth opening slightly under Todoroki's lips. That seemed to shake Todoroki out of his own nervousness as he gently turns the kiss from just a tense pressing of lips to something more relaxed. sweeter, his hand sliding down on Izuku's neck and shoulder. He feels warm and loved and nice, like his entire soul is basking in the warmth of a gentle sun. He doesn't want to stop. He just wants to stay like this forever. Izuku's lips part a bit more when he feels Todoroki's tongue tentatively dart over them, and a soft little hum from the back of his throat rumbles in Izuku's chest as the kiss deepens, Todoroki gently holding him closer as if he's scarred he might break if Izuku squeezes too hard. Izuku's hand sits on Todoroki's chest as he tips his head up more, hungrily chasing the slow, messy kiss. This is perfect. This is what he always wanted. So pliant and warm between his arms. Beautiful and kind and perfect. What else could he ask for? So lucky to have met him. So lucky he had been there. Giving him a hand. Offering his help. Dragging him out of the darkness he had lived in for his entire life. Izuku's mind screeches as he feels the sudden disconnect in his thoughts, and he pushes, sending Todoroki stumbling back against the door of his room with a thud. He takes 3 steps back, his head feels light, like he just woke up from a strange dream, and a hand rises to cover his mouth, eyes wide in shock. His lips still tingle with the sensation of the kiss. He can feel the pure fear in Todoroki's light as they stare at each other in silence, frozen as if they are afraid one might attack the other if they move first. Izuku's heart is beating madly in his chest as he connects the dots. That warm feeling he always felt around Todoroki that made him feel so appreciated and nice and loved. That had been... And now, what he felt just now during the kiss... They weren't his thoughts. They were Todoroki's. Inko frowns when she hears a muffled thud coming from upstairs. Boys? She calls, and upon receiving no answer, she turns to look at Toshinori, sitting at her kitchen table with a tranquil expression as he calmly fiddles with his phone. The man looks up to her when he feels her eyes on him and shrugs. Then she hears the door of Izuku's room open, the sound of hasty steps coming down the stairs, and Todoroki Shoto zaps by the kitchen door, holding his head down, hair covering his face. By the time she pokes her head out the kitchen, he has already slipped his shoes on, opening the door. Todoroki, where are you going? She asks, perplexed. Dinner is almost ready. The boy hesitates on the door, not turning to her. I can't stay. He stammers, tense. Sorry for the trouble. And before she can add anything, he's out. Is something the matter? Toshinori asks, as confused as she feels, poking his head outside from behind her. When Izuku doesn't come downstairs after long seconds, they exchange a look before climbing up together. When they enter the room, Izuku is standing right in the middle of it, both hands on his mouth, an expression of pure shock and confusion on his face.